This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Zinger model 292RE. Okay, so moving towards the rear, you have power stabilizer jacks. One switch in the rear works both rear jacks, and then one switch in the front works both fronts. Now these jacks can also be cranked manually. I'll show you that when we get up to the front. But you can, in case you have an issue or they fail or something like that, you can always crank them manually, okay? Okay, so let me look here, see what else we have. Okay, so your slide room here, this also can be cranked manually. You see this hole here with a grommet around it. The same crank you would use for the stabilizer jacks can also be used to crank this slide out in manually during an emergency, which is a good feature. I'll show you the crank and when I get up front. But let me see if I can just get down here and show you this way. If you can see back there, hopefully you can see it. It's hard for me to see the monitor, but there's a shaft with a pin going through it. Well, you get a crank with this trailer that'll fit right on there, and you can actually crank these things. You got to crank it about 1,000 times, but I'll make it 2,000 times. But it sure beats driving home with your slide outs out, you know, that sort of thing. So it's a really good feature to have. Also, you have two power awnings. One is on the slide room, the other one is on the trailer body. Of course, your steps fold right in to the trailer. You can adjust the length of the legs just by pulling the pin here. There's one on each leg, and you can slide it up and down. You have a TV signal out plus power to put a TV here. This is obviously the switch for your two front stabilizers. So this is the jack you use to crank it manually. You see the end is like that. If I come around to the other side, I showed you the shaft with a pin through it for the slide room. There's also another one over here on this slide room. But if you look at this, I'm on the outdoor side of the trailer now, and I'm looking at the stabilizers. So you can see there's another shaft with a pin, so you can use the same crank and crank these in and out if necessary. Okay, they're very reliable, but it's still a good feature to have. Also, you saw there was a smaller crank in there maybe. Your power tongue jack, if you take this cap off, you can also crank it manually using this one right here. Okay, so those are both good features. So we have a power tongue jack, two LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator. You get a deep cycle marine battery, and this is the kill switch for the battery, so you can disconnect it from the coach when you put it into storage. The only time you disconnect it is when you put it into storage. Otherwise, if you're using it or out, you want it on. So you know your towing vehicle will charge the battery, and when you're plugged in, the power converter will charge the battery. So you always want it on, except when you've got it in storage. Sewer hose. This is there's two ways to get water to the trailer. The most common way is the city water hookup, which is right here. Just put the hose on there, turn it on, you're ready to go. Now, if you go to a campground that does not have plumbing on this campsites, like some of the older state parks, for example, when you first go through the gate, there'll be a fill station. Well, you can fill your fresh water tank here, right, and use the onboard pump to pump the water. So everything, all the plumbing will work as if you have city water, even if you don't. To drain it, it's this white gate valve right there. You see it right, I'm trying to see it in the monitor. Do I have it? Yeah, right there. It dumps it very quickly. It just whooshes out. So that's how you clear your fresh water tank. That's just an outside shower for kids, dogs, feet, and anything else you want to hose down. Your dump valves. You've got your gray valve here, which is sink and shower water. You've got a black valve there, which is toilet water and waste. So you always dump the black first and then the gray, because it'll clean out your hose somewhat. And if you leave the black valve open, you can put your hose at the dump station right on here and turn it on. It'll flush your black tank out. It says right here, make sure you got the black tank valve open before you turn the water on, which is important, but it'll clean everything out and plus clean out your hose a bit, so it's a good practice for sure. Your water heater is here. The switches to control it are inside. Right now this is in camping mode, so it's ready to be camped in. Water in the system, that sort of thing. This is your drain right here, just so you know. And really, like I said, the switches are inside, so I'll show you that when we get in there. Whoops. We'll do that again. See if I can hit it this time. There we go. Sorry about my camera work as usual. This vent here is the range hood vent. So if you're going to run the fan in the range hood to vent to the outside, there are two latches, one here and one here. You want to open those so this baffle flaps freely inside here. So anytime you're venting, you want that flapping freely. But if you're not venting, if you're storing it or traveling, whatever, you always keep it shut, okay? The only time you want to open that is when you're venting. Of course, this is the other hole for the crank to work the opposite slide room, the one on the other side. Okay, you got a 30-foot power cord, 30 amp. Okay. This behind here are just campground cable and satellite through. This housing means it's pre-wired for a backup camera. If you want to get one, we do sell them. You can talk to our guys up front. Basically, when you turn on your running lights, it will activate the camera. Also, while we're looking up, the manufacturer states that you should inspect the roof and seals every 90 days or so. So you want to go up there, or else have somebody else go up there for you every 90 days and look at the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation, make sure the roofing material wasn't damaged by any road debris flying up there or low branches, make sure the vent covers are in good shape. You're just inspecting it to make sure everything's okay. If you do see something wrong that needs attention, make sure you take care of it immediately. Okay, so let's go inside here. There's your dog tie off right there. Okay, so this is your control panel. So your awnings are here, your power awning. Never leave the power awning out unattended. If you're leaving the campground, roll it in. Got your two slide outs right here. These are all lights here. Okay, so your water pump, I told you there's a water pump. You turn that on if you have water in a fresh water tank. If you're using city water, you don't have to use it, obviously. Also, you can use that water pump for winterizing the trailer. Your water heater on gas is here, and on electric is here. Now never fire it up without water in the tank, so you always make sure there's water in the tank before you turn it on. Alright, your battery is charged, fresh water has got a little bit in it, black water is empty, gray 1 and gray 2 are both empty, the auxiliary is not used. The gray 2 would be for your kitchen sink. It's called a galley tank, so that would be the kitchen sink there. Alright, so also while we're standing here, you can't run the fireplace and the air conditioner at the same time, so you have to choose one or the other, and that's where you do it. This is your thermostat. It's just an analog thermostat. Always try to keep the fan on auto right there, and then you select heat or fan. The fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor, just circulates air, and of course cool is the air conditioner. Alright, also while we're standing here, this device here is the power converter. So it converts AC to DC power. So you start off with 110 AC on this side here, and those are circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're all marked so you know what they're for. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. You got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled. Okay, if these fuses blow, that actually light up and you can see them through the tinted plastic. Also, like I stated outside, as long as you're plugged in, this is going to sense how much energy your battery needs up front and make sure it stays charged. Alright. One more thing down here on the lower part of the trailer. This is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector right here. It should always be green like it is. It detects carbon monoxide buildup, LP gas leak, or if it beats very slowly, it's telling you the battery's low. You have a 12 volt DC refrigerator. It's all self-explanatory. It's very simple, on and off. You set the temperature here, and then you have a power-saving night mode. here if you want to, you know, tone it down or turn it down so it doesn't use as much power at night. Okay. Microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range hood that I told you, vents to the outside. Always remember, like I said, if you're going to use the fan, open that baffle on the outside so it flaps freely. Wow. Always keep this the cover down when you're traveling. So I don't know if he's got gas on here. Let's find out. Yes, he does. So you spark it by turning this left knob, the knob all the way to the left here. You turn it clockwise, right? And then you have the oven knob here. There's also a light there, by the way. There's an oven knob here. And to light this is a little different. All the way at the back down here is a pilot light. So you can see it sparking right there, right? So what you do is you go to this knob here all the way to the right. You go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot light. You go ahead and push it in and depress it. You keep this depressed throughout the whole procedure, so you're going to start clicking this clockwise to spark it. And after this pilot light down here lights, you still hold this in for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up, and you go to operating temperature, and that's it. It'll cycle like an oven does, but when you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you really have to relight the pilot light each time you use it. Put this back down. Okay, so TV and sound. Alright, so your TV's on a swing out bracket that locks into place, which is good. That locks into place. That way you don't have to worry about it whipping around when you're traveling. Let me see if I can find the remote. Oh, the remotes are over here. So this one here is your fireplace remote. Let's see what else we have here. This would be the TV remote, and this would be your soundbar remote. Okay. All right. So to turn on the fireplace, which I just did, so you can see it's flashing H right there. That's high. You can set the intensity of the fire. You can let's see up here. You can set the fan speed. That's high, off, low, back to high. So that's for the space heater function. It also has a thermostat that moves up in 5-degree increments and down in 5-degree increments. So like that. Okay. Also it has a timer, so you can set it to turn on and turn off when you want it to. Like it runs on 110 AC, so let's say you get up at 8 in the morning because you're traveling. So you get up at 8, sleep in, and you could set this to 20 minutes early. Let's say at 20 to 8, you could set it to turn on. It'll heat up this part of the trailer, take the chill out of it, and you won't be using up your LP, which is limited because you're carrying it in tanks, of course. It'll do all that on electricity, so it's a really good feature. Okay. Now, the TV works like any other TV, of course. The sound bar, you've got 2 speaker zones, A and B. A is outside or inside the trailer, B is outside. You have Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly with your phone or tablet and stream. You also have a USB to stream off of here. You could put all your albums on one stick and take them with you. It has an FM radio, so it does everything you need. Now, if you wanted to add on a Blu-ray player or something like that, it can be done. There's ways to patch it in the back, and you could work something out with that if you needed to. I don't watch the TV when I'm camping anyway, when I'm traveling. I think sometimes I will watch the local news just to see what's happening in the town I'm in, but other than that, I'm not really interested in it. Okay. Alright, so this is a this is a jackknife. So that couch jackknifes flat, turns into a bed. You got 2 theater seats with that recline. Okay, you've got your 3 or 4 seats for your dinette. Now there's a strap here. You always want to strap the inside legs around the center post of the table. That doesn't keep them from moving and dinging a bit, but it'll keep them from flying around and damaging something like a window or something if you hit a crazy bump. Okay, so it's a good thing to do is to keep them tied down when you're traveling. You got some bar stools under here. Okay, so let me look around, see if I forgot anything in this room. I think I pretty much covered everything, so let's move to the bathroom. Now, I don't know if you've owned RVs before or not. The shower and sink work like any other shower and sink. Now, I noticed he left the panel off in here, but you can see it for now. This is where you winterize the trailer at. There's a winterizing line. That's the water pump, just so you know it's there. Every screw in here is a number 2 square-headed screw, so you need a screwdriver with a number 2 square head, or you need excuse me, better yet, a drill with a number 2 square bit. Okay, so that's where that happens. And the thing to know about the toilet is you can't use it dry. By dry, I'm talking about the black tank, which is directly below. So this here is the foot lever here, right? So you're going to go like that. This is just residual water pressure here. We're not plugged in, hooked up to water right now, but you see the black tank is directly below. So what you do is after you plug in your trailer, you hook up the water, you come in here, and you got your chemical in hand, your toilet chemical. So you'll just step on this pedal. Water will come swirling out. You put about a gallon or so in the tank, or whatever you prefer. You got to have water in the tank to start off, and you put your chemical in there. So you never start off with a dry black tank, or else the smell will be really bad, and it can also get clogged up. So you always start with some water and chemical in the toilet. Okay, that's simple enough. And also, you run your fan, your ceiling fan, with the shower to pull the humidity out. You don't want to create a climate where mold or mildew could grow. So make sure you do that. Let me find a light here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So these are, again, TV hookups. You got a bracket mount here. It's with a backing plate. Get one that swings out. And let's see, if you're in bed, you want it to swing to your left, so you can both view it from there. Make sure you spend the extra money and get a bracket that locks into place. Otherwise, you have to hang straps. They're kind of a pain, and they're unsightly and all that. So it's a good thing to do to get one that locks. It's just a little bit more money. This is your emergency escape window. You push it all the way through. Then you would grab a hold of this red tab and pull the screen out, and you could exit that way during an emergency. Okay. Also, you have storage underneath the bed. You can pull it up. Okay. All right, so I think that covers it. Let me look around here. I think I've got it all. Yep. Okay. All right, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And I want to remind you again about inspecting your roof seals and the roof in general. That's one of the things that every trailer owner needs to do, no matter who built the trailer. They're all the same that way. They need to be inspected. But some people will neglect it, and you don't ever want to do that. Because if you do keep up on the seals, and maybe some years from now, whenever you have to touch them up, you can do that. It costs $10. The caulk tube with the proper stuff, the Dicor lap sealant, costs a lot, like $10. And it'll take you about a half hour. It would take you longer to drag the ladder over to the roof than it would to do the repair. So it's important to keep after it, okay? Thank you very much.